truth be told, we aren't sure.
Seems like he... One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. You must be Tejima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave. True. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave in all that time? I don't have answers to those questions because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took my vision away, it's like a slice of my memory is gone. In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then, it's gone now. So I thought, what's to stop me from moving around instead? The emptiness inside me will be there either way.
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you rediscover the reason you chose to stay, you won't need to leave anymore, right? But if you can't remember anything, it's not gonna be easy. Oh, maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then it'll all come flooding back.
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe I saw him writing in a diary.
I keep a diary? If you say so. I honestly can't seem to remember.
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying at the time that you wanted to make a note of a few interesting things. Things which would prove very important at a later date.
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to find his diary. It must be around here somewhere. Let's take a look.
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary. We should head back to the village to inform the others of Tejima's situation.
One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. This looks like Tejima's diary, all right. Let's see what we have here. Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before finding out that Bamboo was the name of his pet crab. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back, so I just found somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away into the distance. Seems like your average diary of daily village life. Huh? Wait! There's more! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is still my most treasured possession. Now that's the kind of info we're looking for. Time to pay a visit to the shrine. Tejima wrote about. Interesting. Looking at the color and the design, Paimon would have thought it belonged to a child. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there's a chance some of his elemental energy remained on it. Do you think that it might come in handy? That Tejima visited a lot? The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima buried something precious here. Something that kept him in the village all these years? Must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around for 30 years. Let's dig it up and take a look. It looks like a letter. The paper's gone yellow. Must have been written a really long time ago. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone. But he's been here for 30 years. Oh, guess they didn't show up in the end, huh? Well, let's go give Tejima his stuff back and take it from there.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamorian letter belonged to me too. But I have no memory of anything that's written in this diary. Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for 30 years. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when we were finally reunited. And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has flown by so quickly. 30 years feels like the blink of an eye. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Now that I think about it, when my vision was taken from me, it felt like I'd suddenly been hollowed out. Love, regret, everything I felt for... No, not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice, it's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. I think maybe not. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually? When I think about it like that, how curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember? I shall remain here.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, seems it's just like Ayaka and Tomo were saying. If you lose your vision, you lose all your hopes and dreams too. That certainly explains the state Tejima was. At least we were able to help. What? According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission.
Useless.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma. The ones actually enforcing. But why would they take action? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provision?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation.
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some good...
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Oh, huh? And who are you?
What? We heard the commotion and came to see what the...
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps this is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to... In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. He's keeping the provisions for himself, I just know it.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man. But it's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun...
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
I've never even heard of these I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. My own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse... That's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was...
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the vision hunt.
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to... All I know is that I will perform certain things every month. And it's not just that.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provision?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself... To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which is why I came here. If you don't believe me, go find...
He seems... But we better confirm. We should be able to follow their tracks.
Don't worry. Atsuko will be.
Useless!
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more of this. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey.
You demand, boss.
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's...
Disappear!
A little taste!
Worthless! Here! Worthless!
The wrong test subject.
Aw, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think...
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh?
So what did you see inside? Was it stuff?
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal?
You've got a deal. Now show us what's...
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here, but I...
Yeah, a lot. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get... As for you guys, you're free to...
Yeah.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs.
Shut it. Let's just...
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got, or perhaps, there's so you're friends of Kurus.
Whoa, whoa, let's not get... How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super...
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost.
So that's how he was getting those... But why did he have to purchase a usual amount?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have... Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have an... So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt.
Wow. Kurosawa... And no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told... Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency if you're still curious, why don't you go ask him? I see. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name...
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? I've asked him about its origins. He told me, in hindsight, I regret that I... Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Oh, but before... Information is also a... Don't worry, I won't charge much.
At least we now know where the emergency provisions were coming. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again, and see if...
In Tsukumomono Groceries.
Reduced to just standing around. How absurd.
What are you doing here all by yourself? Where did those other two go?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders? Everything I said was true, right?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? I really don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant. This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that either. It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So many memories gone. Forever. No matter how hard I try to remember. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword in my hands and said to me, "With this sword, you should..."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition. But what use are virtue and justice? The Tenryo Commission seized my vision, and the very people I was so desperately trying. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally
Yet another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah, seems like losing all ambition. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Is it just me? Are there more Outlanders now?
The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous sword master around these parts. That he's the present-day master of Make-Your... This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people...
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he fought them all.
Maybe, but I'm still worried about him. Things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism...
Hey there! Did something...
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is impaired. Get out of here immediately! Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live to regret it.
No! You got it so wrong! We just came here to...
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of Meikyo Shisui art. But then we got here and overheard you talking about how he got...
From the way you're dressed, please accept my apologies. We've had so many people try. You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. He's not able to take on any new disciples for the time being. I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow disciple Nanako and I will explain Sensei's situation. Sensei's name is Domon. A name though self-taught. He mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He then proceeded to defeat many. He once said that his goal was to become the best sword master in the world. And so, even while training us, he continued. But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away. He hasn't been the same since. He says the strangest things over and over, and he refuses to let us train. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil spirit. So we've asked the shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine to perform an exorcism. But if I'm honest, I still have my doubts over whether he'll completely recover.
The Grand Narukami Shrine? What's that?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty Shogun herself. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine would have clear power and authority to perform an exorcism. So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going to be just fine. The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both more than welcome to come and watch if you're interested.
So, losing your vision can cause...
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, when she asked him who the people were, it looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking all the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the result. Here's hoping Sensei will be back to his normal self very soon. Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up, he is sure to be thirsty.
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? Uh-oh. Could they be... We won't let them get away with it. Come on, let's go after them. Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up?
Boring!
Don't blink. Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person
How? Are you sure you're... Unless... I guess it's...
excuse me? We're the one... And what are you doing sneaking around these parts?
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side. I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know, I am Domon's senior.
His senior? Wait.
Anzai? Yes, that's me. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated. When we were young, we trained under the same swordmaster. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as practitioners of Make Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our... Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the best swordmaster barely days into his... I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making... Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since... He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought nothing less than perfection in the art of the sword, and nothing could deter him from this goal, no matter what stood in his way.
Sure sounds like he meant...
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed. Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the... Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei, too. Sensei was advanced in years, but after that I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, so when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, so you see, I came here. Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it... Still...
he's just lost his mind? But how is that possible?
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant. But spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. Thus, I dare not rule out possession with complete certainty. And all is certainly not lost, for I received word not—
Lady Yai? Is that—
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed—
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask—
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your time. I must leave now, but we will meet
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken—
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned?
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. Anyway, you should join, given that you've traveled all this way.
Sure! After all, everyone seems pretty. Who knows? Maybe we'll be...
Another bad one? No, let me try again.
Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junyo is so excited. She has a really striking presence. Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look... it was probably...
Keep away. Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please.
As you can see, Lady Domon has persisted in this state for some time now.
Lady Yai, it must be a possession. This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no...
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not possessed by any evil spirit.
But... then does that mean he...
Yes. This is a change in the person himself. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits impaired, he finally descended into madness. As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths. As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition...
Your school practices make you stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine... There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was a... Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both?
Lady Yai, I'm not...
The path of the swordmaster is filled with twists and turns. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the pain of these. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he battled his growing anxiety, he slowly descended. Much like a certain...
Poor sensei.
I'm sorry, Father.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that... Did he follow us the...
Hansai, why are there You're here for revenge, aren't you? I knew it would...
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from... It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you, but that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow...
But what if one day... The same thing... I put everything I had into trying to become the best. If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather...
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I can't know whether I will suffer. I want to keep going until the day that I...
Nanako's far from the only one.
Goodness.
You see? You can place the... Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me, so I can't claim to understand it. But I do know... So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was. When I left...
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering inside of me will not abate. But as your sensei, this is my promise. And I humbly ask...
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you again, but I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo. Well, don't just stand there
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples...
Traveler, a moment, please. Lady Yai has some words for you.
So, the wind that blows from afar for us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child.
Ooh, Lady Yai. She seems super mysterious. Paimon's so curious what she really... We can come back to it another time. For now, we should go report back to Miss Kamisato.
The damned will sooner die again than lay a hand on me. Guess who fulfilled all your wishes? Huh? Ayaka! Huh? Huh?
Traveler, Paimon. It is a pleasure to finally meet you both. I have heard all about how you helped our 3 friends. My sincerest thanks to you.
Yeah. Short of getting them their, Ayaka.
Because now that you have done the 3 things I asked of you, I consider you to be my...
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. But isn't Toma...
Oh. Paimon, you are most
Oh. Okay then. Ayaka, you seem pretty
Back to the matter at hand. You have now witnessed the pain of those deprived of their visions. What are... Perhaps in the eyes, thunders roar, lightnings flash, the winds assault, and the rains descend. But I believe that surely you understand what they... It seems that perhaps now you can appreciate my feeling. You will? Really? Naturally.
All right, bravo, my lady.
See? I told you she... Now then, given that the remainder of our discussion pertains to matters of a more...
Well, here we are again.
Please continue without me.
So, what's the deal with this place anyway? What makes it your favorite meeting spot?
This is land that was gifted to the Yashiro Commission by the Shogun. The Kamisato clan has the exclusive right to plan, build, and repair any property on this land, and even to allow or deny access. Such privileges exist due to the Yashiro Commission's role in managing...
Oh, Paimon gets it!
Once the number of ceremonial...
Makes sense. Perfect place for...
In any case, we can talk freely here. I presume you have a few questions that you wish to ask me? The almighty Shogun. She inspires awe, command. It was her almost complete lack of any emotion. In that sense, the issue is this. For the vast... After all, because of this, the...
How can they be like that?
Nevertheless...
Resistance?
Yes. Many who have lost... To say a little more about Sangonomiya, but I do wonder whether they're... Of course! They invariably adopt a stance of... It almost makes one wonder whether...
Ooh, Paimon has...
Oh? What would you...
Have you got a plan yet?
To be honest, we do not.
What?
Please, do not forget that challenging the vision...
So...
Well, for the moment... For example, by providing vision bearers with safe refuge, or
You're telling Paimon that there are people...
Don't underestimate the talents of the craftspeople in Hanamizaka. To the naked eye, the problem we are facing right now is that Master Masakatsu, who was providing...
Darn!
Yes. We knew it was not a long-term solution, and that it was only a... Exactly. I feel the same way. But when you are ready,